Thanks again to those who've just joined us this evening. Welcome to our employer partner panel discussion for the Manchester College. I'm now going to pass you over to my colleagues, Louise Loxton, who is a head of department for the employability team, and to Karen Wright, who's our assistant principal for the Manchester College, and they will be your hosts this evening. Over to you, Louise.
Good evening, everybody. At the Manchester College, we work closely with employers to get our students as industry ready as possible. The employers here tonight all support with co-design and co-delivery of our courses, as well as providing high quality work experience. So we're delighted to have them here with us this evening to share their insights. I'll now hand over to each employer to introduce themselves, their job role, and the sector in which they work. Claire, would you like to go first?
Sorry. Hi, Louise. My name's Claire Young and I'm the business owner of Claire Young Travel Counsellor. I'm a local independent travel expert based in the Wythenshawe area, and I've been in the travel industry for 26 years. I offer a full 360-degree service to my clients with the added benefit of acting as a tour operator, creating bespoke tailor-made packages, as well as acting as a travel agent working with carefully selected third-party suppliers.
Thanks, Claire. Reem.
Hi, my name's Reem. I am the Digital Marketing Communications Director for IDT Support. We're a managed security service provider. That's us.
Thanks, Reem. Colin?
Hi, my name is Colin Hepplestone and I'm the business owner for IDT Support. We've been in business since 1997, so we've been around for quite a while now. We operate in a managed service environment, so that's computer systems, management of security, as Reem said, and infrastructure. So quite a broad spectrum of disciplines.
Thanks, Colin. And Jane, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jane Greaves. I'm the Senior Social Value Manager for Wilmot Dixon Construction. And we are currently building the new Manchester College building on the old Boddington's Brewery site.
Thanks, Jane. So I'd now like to hand over to Karen Wright, who is our Assistant Principal for Careers, Employer Partnership and Skills, and she's going to ask some questions of our panellists. So over to you, Karen.
Thanks, Louise. Okay, so it's great to have you all here, and we've just got a few questions that we'd like to be able to tease out of you to share your expertise with our students. So this first question is to Jane. So how did you get into the industry, and what advice would you give to a young person, Jane?
I kind of got into the construction sector in quite a roundabout way, really. I was working with unemployed people, getting them into work. And then I moved on to working on apprenticeships in the very early days of modern apprenticeships, many moons ago. And I just stayed in the sector from there, working on local labour initiatives. So I worked on the project when they were building the Commonwealth Games Stadium in East Manchester, which then became the Etihad Stadium. So I worked very closely with Manchester College in those days, getting people into jobs and into apprenticeships. And it's just really gone from there. And then suddenly found myself as a consultant working for myself, and then working on social value. So it's quite a
diverse route.
Yeah, it really was, yeah. But great sector to work in. Love working in construction. And for young people, I would just say that, you know, if you're thinking, consider construction as an option. We're not all brickies, joiners and plasterers. There are a lot of job roles behind the scenes that people don't think about. You know, somebody's got a design, plan, cost of building. There's lots of different routes into our industry as well. Not purely an academic route. You can come via the colleges, via apprenticeships, and you can go, you know, as high as degree apprenticeships. So there's a, you know, a whole host of different routes into our industry. I think for young people, once you're in college, if you get the opportunity going on a work experience placement, then that's, you know, use that as a way for you to shine. You know, I've recruited many an apprentice from somebody coming along as on a work experience placement, because we've just seen that little spark in somebody that we think they've got that potential to become part of our business.
Fantastic, thank you, Jane. And Umar, the same question for you, please.
So was that to me?
Yes, yeah, do you want me to repeat the question?
Please.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get home. I'll be home in literally 2 minutes.
It's okay, no problem. So how did you get into the industry, and what advice would you give to a young person at the college?
I got into the industry. I've worked with the college for about 15 years myself. So it gave me an understanding of the student side. And I've been working with the college for about 5 years now. Getting into this industry, it was all about a transition into living a different lifestyle, with regards to being a bit more creative and free in the way that I maneuver myself around the market. And one of the main reasons of being a part of the college is it provides a great opportunity for students to spread their wings and gain so many more experiences that they wouldn't normally experience in any other setting. So they've got the education side, they've got the experience of actually working in a real life work experience, and they've got that opportunity to actually have experiential knowledge. So they might go into a program, and the program has so many different other arms to it that they might start off thinking that they like something inside the digital sector, which might be around SEO. They might have a little taste of that in one session and realize, no, they need to grow in other areas. And that puts them on a real life experience with regards to knowing exactly what they want. So as they move into university or into careers, they've got a clearer picture. They've already had a wider taste. As we know ourselves, but working in a normal employment, you go into one role, and that role is quite set and quite rigid. But with the experiences that they will get with the placements and apprenticeships, they can try so many more other areas where they normally wouldn't get that opportunity to.
Fantastic, thank you. Yeah, and it's really invaluable, isn't it? So thank you for that. So our second question is for Reem and Colin, and this is, what typical skills does your industry look for in general in a young person when they come on work experience or for interviews?
I'll let Colin go through the technical side of things first, and then I'll add my bit.
Thank you.
You're on mute, Colin.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from my point of view, whenever we're taking on any apprentice, one of the key things that we always look for is not so much the technical abilities, because they haven't yet learnt those skills, but it's the common sense approach to being able to follow processes, and if they come across a problem, having the ability to try and find out what the resolution to that problem is. I think, you know, from a training perspective, a real live environment, working in a company that is active, they can quickly soak up a lot of the skills that would take a lot longer without that experience. So, you know, we've noticed that when people have come to work for us, they've grown not only from a skill point of view, but a social point of view as well. It gives them a lot more confidence and ability to interact with. You know, we might put them in front of you know, a junior one day in a company, but then the next day they may be speaking to one of the CEOs regarding a technical problem. So we try and give them as much exposure to a real environment to develop those skills. And we've found that, you know, that's come on in leaps and bounds, and we're amazed really at how quickly that those skills develop. So I think it's not so much what we're looking for in terms of skills, it's as an individual, how they are able to adapt in a working environment.
Yeah, I'd agree completely with what Colin just said. You know, the kind of things that we're looking at is a lot more sort of, you know, like your time management, your punctuality, you know, just communication skills, just those simple basic things that will really help you, not only in your social kind of life, but also in a work environment. I think sometimes people underestimate the importance of those things like, you know, like I said, time management, and just also self-management, you know, knowing, you know, that, you know, a lot of younger people now with the phones, they're just continuously on the phone. So just knowing to put that away, you know, when you're in a work environment, you're working and learning and absorbing as much as you can, because if you're willing to learn, that's something that, you know, is always a great asset to have, because employers will always value someone that shows the initiative, because a lot of young people struggle to find, they say, well, I've not got work experience, I've not got, you know, it's a catch-22. But if you're willing to learn and you're passionate about what you do, that will always come across, and it's something that we really value.
Fantastic, yeah. And we offer an employability hour for all of our students at the college, and we develop them softer skills, them workplace characteristics, and you know, make sure that they've got them skills that they can demonstrate when they do come into the workplace and for interview. So thank you. And Claire, the same question to you, please.
Hi, Karen. Yeah, so I think within the travel industry, specifically the area I'm in, which is, you know, sort of retail, leisure and business sales of travel services, the ability to build relationships is key, really, both internal and external of the business. Externally with clients that you're dealing with, that's really your communication skills, active listening skills, so that you can gain a real understanding of what the client's needs are, particularly because travel is a non-tangible product. For the majority of people, it's probably one of the biggest purchases they make in a year, their annual holiday, and they don't actually get to touch and see it or feel it until they're actually in it, and so they're buying it a long time before they actually get the product. And that's essential, in those communication skills feeding to the other skills, which are namely the ability to sell those products and services and then provide excellent customer service. And then internally within the business that you're actually working for, building relationships is key to working with other departments and also external suppliers outside of the day-to-day business.
Fantastic. Thank you. So the final question I'm going to ask each of you, and this really is about them transferable skills. So you know, even if they do come on a work placement and they think this isn't the industry for me, what skills have they developed, and what transferable skills do you think the students need? So if we go to Umar first, please. Oh, might have lost him, have we?
I think we have, Karen, yeah.
Okay, so if we now go to Claire, are you okay to go on again, Claire?
Yeah, that's fine, no problem at all. Well, I mean, within the last 12 months, I think we all know that the pandemic's brought significant changes, predominantly within the industry that I work in. But this industry is really diverse, and the skills that you will pick up working within this industry really are the skills that the other employers have mentioned before. So your verbal communication, time management, but problem solving, customer service skills and conflict resolution as well is a really good one. And you'll also benefit from learning lots of industry-wide systems like the global distribution system we use for booking flights, and sort of understanding and knowing those sorts of systems. You then pick up other systems when you move within our industry and also external of this industry as well, I think.
Fantastic, thank you. So Umar, are you okay? We've got you back.
I've made it.
Umar, could you also introduce yourself, because some of the listeners might not know who you are? Because
my name is Umar. I've worked with the college for quite a few years, about 15 years, and I'm transitioning to my own business with regards to digital marketing, web development, a bit of e-commerce, and business development and training nationally and internationally. And we do quite a lot of manufacturing globally.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you were here for the question, but this question is about them transferable skills that young people can develop. So would you like to share some of them?
So one of the things that we really love, like everybody's been talking about, is students that come in with a bit of passion and they've got some desire to progress. So we try to give the students as many experiences as possible. Like the gentleman just said before, about one day they could be talking to somebody who's junior, next day they could be talking to the CEO. With us, we're in a fortunate industry that because we've got such a wide array of projects that we run ourselves, we try to give the students the full opportunity to be a part of any of the projects that they like. So sometimes we'll be talking to celebrities, TV personalities, and that gives them that little bit of encouragement to want to be a part of either the social media side or the videography side. And it's just about creating opportunities that students that do work with us, they recognize what's going to be beneficial for them in the long term. Yeah. So those skills, those transferable skills that they attain, it just shapes them. And what we try to do is not only within the working environment, because the creative sector is quite diverse in the way of that there's no real set timetable. So we found that in COVID, because some of the students have been working from home, when they have been working with us, the hours change. So they have a little bit of an experience with regards to the flexibility of having to work different hours to meet the needs of the clients. But what we found from them is that they've really enjoyed that, because they have to work on their feet. They have to really think a lot more creatively with regards to giving solutions to the clients.
Fantastic, thank you. So the next one is Reem, are you okay to feedback?
Yes, just had to unmute myself there. I absolutely echo exactly what Claire and Omar were saying earlier about you know, being creative and the time management, customer service. These are all very, very important things. In addition to that, and about touching on the creativity side, being in the marketing sort of field, I would also share the fact that, you know, if you come up with any creative ideas or new ideas, you know, do share them. You know, it doesn't matter if you know, whatever that idea is like, you know, in an employment environment, we're always open to listen. I know we certainly have taken action on a lot of ideas that have been suggested by employees, and just thinking outside of the box. You know, displaying that creativity is something that you can transfer in any aspect of life. Just using a super quick example actually of this, there's a young student actually by the name of Nathan Brickerton, and the only reason I know about this is because he applied for social media, beg your pardon, start again. It's Social Chain. Steve Bartlett, the owner of Social Chain, has just released a book recently. And on the back of releasing that book, this young student, Nathan, reached out to him saying that I've noticed that you've not got a Wikipedia page, and therefore your SEO is not going to be as high because you've not, you know, having a Wikipedia page will really help. And on the back of that, he's actually offered him the job next week. And Stephen Bartlett receives hundreds and hundreds of job applications, and he just left them aside and offered this young man a job. So don't think that anything's far-fetched. Just be creative, use what you can. You know, young people now have got the great opportunity of having access via social media. It is literally word of mouth on steroids, as I like to call it. So use that to your advantage, reach out, learn from employees, learn what are employees passionate about, what are they sharing, you know, try and absorb as much as you can, and then use that when, you know, when you're looking to get some work experience.
Wow, what a fantastic story, thank you. Okay, so Colin.
Okay, so really to follow that, I'm probably just going to echo really what everybody's saying, because it sounds that everybody that's in a work environment is looking for the same kind of skills or mindset of people to join you know, a company. And I think, you know, from particularly our experience as a business, that we cover such a diverse customer base, from the fashion industry to, we do work with Universal, Disney, we work with architects, construction. So we've got such a wide range of clients that we deal with, that young person can be exposed to quite a different set of demands from those. Obviously, the fashion industry is very demanding, so it's learning to have those expectations and to manage them. You know, architects, construction have very different requirements. So there are a lot of skills that can be soaked up particularly in a workplace environment. And I think, you know, if we echo everything that everybody else has said, I think if we can get people on board that have that passion and follow it through, then there's certainly jobs at the end of it, which is ultimately what this is all about. And as a business, we've always encouraged people to work, not to finish an apprenticeship scheme, but to actually have a job at the end of it.
Yeah.
And the key thing is keep instilling in the person about the disciplines, the timekeeping, constantly asking questions. You know, we're a technical environment. We don't know all the answers. You know, but it's very easy these days to find resolutions to things. And if, you know, there's no such a thing as a stupid question. If you don't know, you don't know. So we encourage people to ask questions continually all the time. The more you ask, the more you learn, the more you gain your confidence. And I think that's what we would always push in any young person. And we're very proud that we've got people that we've pushed through and they've now gained, you know, valuable careers in the IT sector. And the IT industry, as you all know, is continually evolving.
Yeah.
So it's a continual learning process that we're all in. And that's what makes it exciting. So I think, you know, if they can embrace that from the very beginning, then there's good opportunity for everybody, really.
Fantastic, thank you. So that's the end of our questions. So I think we've lost Jane.
I've got Jane. Is she gone?
She's ggone, yes. She'll come back on. Okay, so is it over to you now?
Jane's still here.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she is.
Oh,
I wondered where I'd gone then.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd just like to echo really what everybody else has said. There's a lot of skills that can be transferable skills that can be learned when young people go on a work placement. You know, following instructions is a good one. You know, you can adapt that to whatever industry you're going into. Problem solving, meeting deadlines. I think the main thing is to be able to turn up every day, turn up on time, and have that willingness to learn. The rest we can teach you. But if we haven't got those three things to start with, you know, then we're not really off the starting blocks. So there's a lot of things that can be learned. I think going on a work placement is an ideal way to find out whether that industry and that sector is what you want to get into. And, you know, we must have lots of young people that go on placements and then come away thinking, yeah, well, that was all right, but that's not what I want to do. And you know what, that's fine, because then you know what you don't want to do. You might not know what you want to do, but at least you've tried something and thought, no, that one's not for me. So yeah, it's a great way of learning. Whatever skills you pick up are transferable. So yeah, just echoing what everybody else has said, really.
Fantastic, thank you all. Some great takeaways there, so thank you.
Okay, we've got some additional questions which have come through. So if you're happy for me to ask the questions, I'll just fire away. I'll just open it up to anybody to answer. So how important is work-life balance?
It's essential.
Take that one.
Essential in this day and age, and this is one of the reasons why, especially in the creative sector, and I think is becoming more mainstream, that life-work balance is such an important factor for creative growth, for people to want to thrive in their workplace. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of the industries, and I'm sure everybody here feels roughly the same. We're all human. We all want to have a good time. We all want to have a nice holiday. We all want to be able to have a flexible working life. And I think a lot of the industry is slowly moving towards that. We have that same rule within our workforce. We've been looking at this for about two years now. So we don't have a real timetable as in set times. We've got deadlines with regards to what the client needs and what they need to achieve. And so long as we've got the rule, whether someone's standing, sitting or sleeping, it's irrelevant so long as the work is being met. Because within the creative sector, it's a little bit more different from the business sector with regards to you need to have your suit and tie on, and at the meetings it's prompt, and it's learning those different skills. Sometimes the students we try to introduce the students to those kind of differences. So some of the meetings we all wear suits because the client on the other side might be a multinational like Amazon or like Boots or Harrods, and they don't want to see us in a particular light. While on the other side, we've got people who are rappers, people who are of a certain industry, and they want to see the relaxed approach. And understanding those two mediums, sometimes they want to work early, sometimes they want to work late. We don't have working hours, so a lot of the students themselves, it's about what do you feel, when do you feel that you're the most creative?
Yeah, very much like the events industry as well.
Exactly. And I think it's the students need to be able to voice that, because that's how people will get to understand the way that they work. We know that by allowing one of the students that came a couple of years ago wanted to just do photography. Very soon they said they wanted to learn videography. We said, well, that's fine. And as students, you're going to get a real opportunity to be quite flexible, because we might hire a videographer just to do videography. But when the students that are thinking of coming to the creative sector, they don't have to come in with this block mentality that I've got to only do photography. The student, particularly student now, we trained her up on videography, a lot of the software, a lot of the tools, because they were passionate about it. They did a little bit of extra learning on the side themselves. They were shooting on quite a few shoot for ITV, etc., and that just helped them build their resume. And now currently they're working for the Hook Group.
Brilliant, thank you. Louise, I know you've got a question there you want to ask.
Yeah, it's just a question just come through. So again, open to the panel. So what would you tell your 16-year-old self regarding work? So who'd like to take this one?
I'll take.
Both of you. Both of you. Go on.
No, I mean, well, my career started, I started as what was a YTS, and within 12 months they'd moved into modern apprenticeship. So actually I have been working since I was 16. And I think for me, working with the college now, what I see is the benefit of having those extra couple of years within an education setting to learn as much as you possibly can from a classroom aspect, but take the experience, as Umar said before, you know, to move into, and Jane, to go into a work environment and work out, is that role for you? Because my industry is very diverse. You can come in as a travel agent and very quickly you can move into cabin crew, operational, legal. There's lots of different areas behind the scenes like Jane's. And so for my 16-year-old self, I'd probably say get a little bit more classroom time in. Work is great, but you know, a mix of education setting plus those work experiences are fabulous for gaining behind the scenes experience and knowing what you want to do going forward.
Thanks, Claire. Colin.
Okay, so if I go back to 16-year-old, I worked in McDonald's. So that was in the days where, you know, the flared collars and everything else. So, but the thing I took from that was that it was a very work-driven environment. And what that taught me was a lot of discipline, working in a team environment. It taught me that I could earn more money by putting in more hours, and I could make more of my position by applying myself to that job. And as a result, I became I think I was McDonald's youngest manager. So I opened the first drive-through McDonald's. I was only 18. So it was quite, you know, albeit McDonald's, everybody thinks it's just a part-time job, but actually for me, it gave me a lot of team building skills. I was responsible for about 40 staff, you know, at 17 years old. And then I left, obviously, because, you know, it's kind of a 2-3 year job environment for me. But it taught me some good skills. And I think, you know, it was more about applying yourself and seeing what potential you actually have and driving yourself forward. So that was really the catalyst for me to get myself into a more managerial role. And then from there, obviously, I started thinking about business ideas and so on. But that was really the catalyst for me, is to work hard and don't just treat things sometimes as just a pocket money job. You know, think of what you can actually take away from that, because everybody has the same opportunity.
That's a great message, Colin, thanks. And also it came out very clearly, believe in yourself as well, take the chances and use them and believe in yourself along the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great. Jane, did you want to comment on that one as well?
No, I was just going to say that I think it's important that you get into an industry and a job role that you enjoy. I think there's probably nothing worse than having to go to work every day and thinking that you don't even like what you're doing. I look forward to going to work every day because I like my job. It's very diverse. It's very, every day is different. You know, I'm still learning new things even now. I think you never stop learning. I think the construction sector is a great one to get into. Lots of different opportunities. So yeah, I think it's important to be happy at work because you're a long time at work.
Great, thanks, Jane. I'm going to change the focus slightly because we've had another question, and this is about hidden career pathways. So what are the hidden career pathways or hidden jobs within your industry that potential students or young people might not know about, might not have associated with your industry? Would anyone like to take that question?
I don't mind doing that one.
Go for it, Jane.
There's lots of hidden jobs within construction. You know, people think we're all brickies, joiners and plasterers and that we just turn up to site and start digging. And believe me, we could have been in the pre-construction phase for like 18 months before we even get onto site. Somebody's got to design buildings, somebody's got to plan them, cost them, do everything that goes behind the scenes. You know, you look at the roles within our business and there's all the support roles. We have environmental managers, we have BIM managers, we have social value managers, lots and lots of different roles. You know, we have bid writers because we have to win a job. So we have to write a bid that goes along with the costings and everything else that allows us to win that job. And then when we win that job, then it goes into pre-construction and somebody's costing it, planning it, designing it. And then ultimately we get onto site and we start the build from there. But, you know, there could have been 18 months of work before we even get onto site. So there's lots and lots of different roles within construction behind the scenes that young people just don't even know anything about. We've got your scholarship students with us at the moment, rotating around our business. And I think every one of them came in with an idea of where they saw themselves going. And I think slowly now, some of them are changing their mind and because they've experienced working alongside, you know, a QS or a design person. And they're starting to think now, actually, well, I quite like that. And I quite fancy knowing a little bit more about that. So it's, you know, we're changing those perceptions now with those young people of what they thought our industry was all about, now that they're actually experiencing it.
Yeah, that's brilliant, isn't it? And sometimes it is only by doing a work placement that they find out about these other opportunities as well, don't they? Because they're chatting to people they're working with as well and finding out about other roles and pathways.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Thanks, Jane. Did anybody else want to comment on that one as well, about any hidden jobs that people might not know about in your sector?
Especially in the tech sector. Bitcoin is a new thing. Nobody heard of that a few years ago. PayPal is a new thing. Now I know we've had it for a while, but it's seeing the gaps in the market. Until you don't step into the environment, you can't see those gaps. So now with regards to any job, once you go into it, you realize the camera. You know, first you just had cameras, then you had video. Now you've got 3D. Then you're looking at holograph or things like that, and it is the people who are really, really dedicated and they can craft themselves their own little roles. And we're seeing that with, I think apprenticeships are a great way to do that because students come in and they're quite flexible. And because they want to try a few little things quickly, from any business, from myself, if I can see a particular young person who's good at certain jobs, you mold it together and they create a job role in itself, and it doesn't have a title of videographer, or it can't have a title. One of the students asked me once, what's my title on my signature in the email? I said, that's something you're going to have to figure out. What do you feel that your role? And I think as the workplaces are diversifying a lot more, blend of technology, blend of other skills, it allows them to figure out what those new job roles are. So many new things are happening in the tech industry. Somebody somewhere is going to think of an idea of Bitcoin and PayPal and merging the Bitcoins together. You've got Ethereum, you've got Bitcoin, and everything's stuck in its own portal. Somebody within the next few years is going to be sharp enough to say, hold on, we can take Bitcoin and put it into Ethereum. But someone's got to know how that translates and transfers. And that's going to definitely not going to, I don't think it's going to be somebody like me who's losing his there.
Thanks, Uma.
We've had just one more question which has come through. Do you need a degree to work in your industry? Not sure who'd like to take that one.
Colin, I think Colin just put his hand up. Oh,
Colin.
Yeah, so I don't have a degree. I left school at 16. You know, with hindsight, maybe I would have liked to have gone on. I don't know, but it's not done me any harm. I was entrepreneurial from a very young age. But no, you don't need a degree. You don't necessarily need the qualifications. We'll train and we'll provide qualifications, which is what we do now. So we've got Microsoft training, different vendor qualifications, and we're big on training people to make sure that they've got the right skills to support clients. But to get into the industry, unless you're going into a very bespoke sector within the IT industry that you need particular skills, I don't think the broad spectrum, you actually need that. I think that's driven from whoever the employer is, maybe down. Mm-hmm. And I think whether you work for a corporate or whether you work in a small business environment is very different. I would always look for some basic skills and basic qualifications from either a kind of a, well, I don't know what the current O-level, like GCSE kind of accreditations are, but at least that shows me not so much the grades that they've got, but their ability to apply themselves, to learn, to get through an exam and to pass. So for me, they're the key skills. But from a degree level, no, it's absolutely not a requirement of a job, I would say, in the majority of IT sectors.
Thanks, Colin.
I would agree with what Colin just said. I mean, I decided to go down the study route. I did do my degree. I've done my master's not too long ago, but that was more for self-development. Plus, I wanted to keep abreast of the latest part of what's going on in the industry, because I was, I guess, a bit savvy enough to make sure I was always working from a young age, even while studying. And for me, that worked really well. For example, when I started, I worked for Centrica, who own British Gas, and I was studying at the same time. I was working in the call centre, and then when the role came up for marketing communications manager, I decided to go for it because I'd just finished my degree. And instead of accepting all these applications that came through externally, I was the first sort of point of, yes, we'll give her the interview, and I got the job. And that's on the back of the experience that I had. So I know it can be a bit of a catch-22 for a lot of young people, but it's I don't think that you need to have a degree to do it. But if you are passionate about what it is you want to do, and you do want to sort of, because there's a lot of skill sets you get from education. I mean, not just the certificate at the end, but you learn so much in there. Again, punctuality, time management, you learn how to write, academically, it's very difficult. When I went back, just recently to do my master's, I'd forgotten how to write, I was like, this is so difficult. But, you learn certain skill sets that you can bring to the table. But a lot of the time, I think, like Colin said, the experience really is the key thing to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd say that as well. I think for my, as I said earlier, I started at the age of 16 within the travel industry, and even now, 26 years later, I'm still as passionate about it as I was then. And I've been very lucky to sidestep through the industry. And every job I've had, I've worked in retail, high street agencies, I've worked for smaller independents, sidestepped into cabin crew, you know, resort reps, and was lucky enough to have been on an educational trip out in the Far East and to have managed to land myself a job while I was there and didn't have to come back. So I managed to get 2 years in Thailand. So I think a degree is not, you know, not something that you require. As Colin said, I think that's employer specific, depending what the role is. Some may ask for it, but really all you need is passion for the travel industry, for travel, or whichever sector you want to be in. And then, you know, that will carry you through and you will be able to sidestep through the industry. It's just so diverse.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thanks, Claire.
Thanks very much, Claire. So also in the interest of time management, we're slowly coming to an end with this session. I would like to thank all our employers for what they continue to do as well for the college and for our young people, but also for giving up their time tonight to share some really valuable insights with us. So on behalf of myself and Karen and the whole team here, many thanks from us for that.
Yeah, thank you. It's been fantastic. Thank you very much.
Have a lovely evening.
Yeah.
And you take care.
Yeah. Thank you. Just to say, we do have some more sort of TMC live panel events which are taking place until Thursday evening. I'll pop in the chat box the website to join any of those sessions, and also if you'd like to apply for the Manchester College, I'll pop that in the chat box as well there. As Louise said, thanks everybody for joining us this evening. Hope you have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.